The Ottawa market is shifting a bit, and if you're buying, this is where the shift can actually work in your favor. If we compare to May last year, the sales were down by 10.6%, active listings were up 12.2%, and the average price was down by 0.9. Now, homes were still selling for about 98.7% of the listing price on average, so the numbers are not showing some sort of dramatic crash where every seller is just taking this huge discount. What the numbers are actually showing is more inventory. And when there are more homes sitting on the market while sales are lower, you start to have a little bit more room to really just slow down, compare, and work through the purchase properly. And this is the part where I'm seeing with clients right now. When we're looking at homes, we are able to look at the property in the context of what else is available instead of treating it like it's the only option. We can look at how long it's been listed, whether it's been reduced, what else has sold nearby, and whether the condition and the price line up with the rest of the market. Let's look at townhouses as a good example. So in May, there were 1,288 active townhouse listings in Ottawa, which is the highest May townhouse inventory shown in this report going back to 2016. The typical townhouse price is still around $557,000, so the prices are still quite high. However, with more townhouse inventory, you have more contacts and leverage before writing an offer. Now you can compare one townhouse against another. You can look at the layout. You have more time to, consider the updates, parking, the area, monthly cost, and whether the price is actually supported by what else is even available. And when you have several similar homes on the market, the seller's position is going to change too, obviously. If their home has been sitting on the market, or if similar listings have reduced, or maybe there's other options competing with them, that can affect how we approach the offer. Obviously, that doesn't mean that every single seller is going to be, extremely flexible, but a well-priced home, in a good location is still going to move quickly. And there are definitely situations right now where buyers have more room to include conditions, review documents, and negotiate from a more informed place. I had clients recently where we went pretty far into the process on a property, and the offer was accepted, the appraisal was done, the financing was approved. And when we had a chance to really review the status certificate, there were a couple of things that both the buyer and I were a little bit uncomfortable with. And so we walked away. And this is a really good example of how this market can be helpful, because the offer accepted was just, step one. The conditions gave us time to review everything before she was fully locked in. Once we had the full picture, we knew it just wasn't the right property for her, and it wasn't difficult for her to walk away because she knew that there would be a lot more options to choose from. And she knew that this was a market that she had the opportunity to take her time in. And this is exactly what I mean when I say buyers can use this market better and to their advantage right now. You may have an opportunity to get a lower price, but finding the biggest win is having enough room in the process to check the financing, inspection, insurance, status certificate, and the monthly cost before you make that final commitment. And that's what I'm noticing the most, because lately when I'm looking through properties with some of my clients, they're looking at things through a little bit of a different lens. There's definitely more to choose from, and they're not really feeling that same sense of scarcity. And I do want to be clear here, because this is not true for every single property. We still see places that move quickly. If something is priced right, it is really great location and in fantastic shape. When all three of those things are there, it can still grow fast. So buyers still do need to be ready. You definitely still do need to be ready. But for the most part, especially when you're looking for something very specific, it's a lot more of a calmer situation than it was before. And honestly, the overall experience of buying a home right now, especially townhouses or condos, it feels so much better than what it used to be. With condos, this is even more important, because the apartment style condos had 4.8 months of inventory in May, and the average price was down 12% from last May, and they were taking about 33 days to sell. So yes, condos may have a little bit more opportunity right now, especially for somebody just trying to get into the market. But with condos, the purchase price is definitely, of course, only part of it. You have the condo fee, the reserve fund, the condition of the building, the rules, the insurance, and the status certificate. And it can completely change how comfortable you are with the purchase. And this is exactly why I'm spending more time with buyers looking at the full cost of ownership. We're paying more attention to the monthly payment, the condo fees, taxes, the insurance, and what you're actually going to live with after closing, because they have the time. When I'm reviewing a property with a client, I'm looking at what is sold, but I'm also looking at what's currently competing with it. The solds show where the buyers have recently paid, but the active listings listings show what buyers are choosing between today. If the home is priced above similar options, it's, been sitting, and maybe it's been sitting, if it's been reduced, or if other similar homes are not moving either. That gives us information when deciding how strong the offer should be. From the seller side, this is also why having a really good pricing strategy is important in this market. Homes that are priced above where the buyers see value are definitely going to take longer to sell. That 98.7% sale to list ratio can make it look like sellers are getting almost exactly what they ask for, but the numbers doesn't always show that full path. A home may have reduced first, or sat for a while, or adjusted closer to where buyers were willing to move. So main takeaway is this: Ottawa's not crashing, but some parts of the market are definitely giving buyers more room to work through the decision properly and a little bit more leverage. So if you're buying right now, or in the near future, and if you want to talk through what this looks like for your own search, send me a text, give me a call. You don't need to be buying tomorrow, but we can certainly just go through what you're looking at and what the market is currently actually giving you room to do.